Was poppin', was poppin', was poppin'. Welcome to Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And we're on episode 42. And this week we're going to be talking about, of course, Space Jam coming out. How do we feel about it? Maybe one of us didn't see it, but I did.
Hey, 30 seconds in, not even. Let's go.
We're going to talk about how rich people just do random stuff and, you know, if that's going to be your vibe or not. We're going to be talking about Queens, New York, another accomplishment for Queens, and just a bunch of other stuff. Moose, how are we feeling about this episode?
Well, aside that you already put it out there that I didn't see some of what we're going to be talking about, we're going to make this thing work, and I'm excited to talk about Queens in the back end. Let's go.
Yeah, man. Let's get into this intro.
Two kids from Queens, cut from a different cloth. Now joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
So you already know what time it is. It is the review of the week. And this one's a little bit long, so for my day ones, I'm not doing the voice. This is a lot, okay? This is a lot. So this one says, "We are the world." Konnichiwa, family. All right, this episode was fire because you both let us in a little further on your love for people and diversity and cultures, the value of time management, and even the different pockets of solid branding and life info you both provide. You both always have me busting up laughing and enlightened. ESP, I don't know what that is, with shooting one shot. Okay, I see what you did there. So here's my mid-court shout out of Colorado. I fully expect to take a photo with both of you in Atlanta for our BU Family 120 conference. Okay. In my sis Nikki's voice. You know what I mean? And can't leave Moose out. Facts, major facts. You say that a lot? I didn't even notice that.
I have no idea. Maybe you caught me. That's good.
Listen to you. And in my own voice, you know what I'm going to say. I can't say that. I don't know what that is.
Woo-hoo.
But, that one. Love ya, Overland. That was a lot, people.
Shout out to you, Overland.
Yes. But we had to read that because Overland is a major supporter. So shout out to Overland. Shout out to everybody who leaves us a review. Leave us a review at Apple Podcast, Podchaser, anywhere you leave a review. Moose, how are we feeling?
Very good. I feel good. It's been a good week, and I'm excited to get episode 42 in the books.
He hasn't talked to me all weekend.
Wow.
So this is going to be a pure conversation episode because we haven't talked because we're not friends.
Wow. Damn. Now people are gonna think I'm a bad friend.
No. He's a great friend on Tuesdays. So I'm kidding, people. I'm kidding. I always bug him. We have this running joke when we don't talk to each other. One of us is not a good friend. It happens. We're both busy
Only
people.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we just joke on each other. But on different news, going back to what Overland said, hopefully you guys are getting your 120 tickets, okay? 120series.com. E's going to be back on stage. And not weird conversation. I said this on live on my IG.
Yes,
I didn't know I was talking. Did you know this? Did you?
I didn't know, but I saw it in the like in the schedule thing. I'm like, okay, got
Right.
meetings leading out of session. Yeah.
Right. They didn't tell me.
Oh,
They just put me
well,
on the schedule. Like,
yeah.
that's how we do things. Like, we just.
Kind of common. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah,
Did they
sometimes
tell
we just,
you during the 1%? Like, I really want to have this conversation. I'm like,
no, they didn't.
tell you?
Here's how I found out. Yeah,
Okay,
here's
go.
how I found out. We were in Dallas for the very first 1% ever.
Yes.
And we got a call from E at about 5 a.m, the day of the conference. And he said, hey, I got an idea.
Right.
You guys should do the opening for the flight assessment. I was like, okay, that's great. When? Today. Yeah, no, do today.
Oh.
Yeah. And then sure enough, that's how it worked out. And then they started doing it on day 2.
Okay, well, at least at least I have
You got
more
an advance
more
notice,
time.
nigga.
Yeah,
This is
I
good.
have wait, but I still think at least you got a call. I didn't I
Right.
have to read and I don't read.
Wow. So what you gonna talk about? You know what you're gonna talk about? You know what you're gonna talk about?
No clue. It said branding
Okay.
something, so I mean that's easy, but
Yeah.
and then it sounded like Nicky and Friends. I don't know if you read it. It was like Nicky and Deeper Than the Brand. Like, it's Nicky and Friends. Like, I'm supposed to bring a whole bunch of people to. So weird. I don't know. Anyways, side note, sorry. 120series.com. Come see me speak at 120, and I'm probably going to
There it
drag
is.
in Moose.
Wow.
But you probably have like 4 sessions by yourself. I just want to let you know that. You probably do.
No, I'm not on the schedule.
No, you are. You are.
Oh.
It's going to be instantly with me, but I'm just saying you probably have a separate one. I'm just.
Let's see.
We're gonna have a live Nicky and Moose.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
That
and that
just
might even be our
happened.
very first ever live episode because we haven't recorded like together in the same space yet.
So that just happened.
Yeah,
It's going to be
our whole
Nicky and
episode
Moose.
has
I'm
been
making
live.
it a branding and business lessons with Nicky and Moose. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
I think I have enough pull. I think I do.
You got friends. You know what I'm saying? You got some friends.
I have friends. But anyways, let's get into this episode. First topic of the day. Yeah. When rich people have too much money. Branson versus Bezos. Who really wins this space race? Okay, there's no true lesson from this one. The only reason I brought this up is this what we are supposed to expect when us and all our listeners have just way too much money that now we are just battling it out for random stuff like, hey, who could go to space first? You
Right.
let me know. And why is this even a topic still if my man already went to space? Like, is Bezos gonna do like a longer time over there and actually build a building? Like, I'm kind of confused why this is an actual, like, this is cool. Don't get it twisted, right?
That's cool.
I
It's
do
funny.
like it's weird, but it's cool at the same time. The reason why I say that is because like when old boy went to space already and he had this whole little cute little motivational speech like, for all the kids, you can do it too, keep dreaming, yay. I put it on the Nicky and Moose. That's no shade, but it was cute, right? It was
Right.
very cute. He got very excited and he was like, yo, I dreamt this, which is a great lesson, right? Like after that, with money, anything is possible. That's what I really got out. Don't sit here. Okay, this is gonna make me. Don't sit here and say the regular smegular person can do that. Don't do that. Don't.
Right.
Because if you were Joe Schmo from McDonald's, the manager of McDonald's, let's just say manager. Let's give you a nice. And there's no shade to anybody who's a manager of McDonald's or was. I'm just saying. Don't sit here and tell me that person can create a spaceship, this, that, without leaving that job. That person is.
Well, they gave away a free ticket. Didn't one of them give away a free ticket to like a 18-year-old dude or something like that? You didn't see that? Damn, it's 250 grand. Let me ask you this: if you had a good amount of money, right? Would you pay 250 to go to space?
See, so I can't intelligently speak on this yet because I don't have that much money, right?
Okay.
So
fair.
it's like, well, at least because I don't know when you listen to this, I don't have enough money just to willingly spend on that, right?
Right.
So, because by the time you hear this, I don't know, but
I love it.
But my whole thing is like, you see random stuff, like just random stuff rich people buy, and I salute it. Like before, it was like, yo, okay, you got it, I don't. You could do this. You could buy this. It makes sense. You buy this random thing that, flies underwater. Cool. Whatever. Not even swim underwater. We call it fly. I'm cool with that. You just buy stuff because you can and because you have the money to experience things that we can't even imagine. Right. And so for him and both of them, I have so much money that I can experience something that I couldn't even imagine, right? I'm experiencing. That's why I don't even look at materialistic thing ever since our last episode. If you haven't listened to our last episode, please go do that at this time. Insert new episode now. But I'll just say, ever since then, I don't necessarily look at materialistic things like bad things. It's more like an experience kind of thing. Like I'm experiencing having this. I'm experiencing doing this, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know if I will experience building a spaceship to intentionally go to beat somebody, because I don't know if he had intentions of doing this before. I don't know. We never heard of it. Now all of a sudden he has Virgin Galactic. Like it just came out of nowhere. Now, mind you, I'm cool with don't say your ideas out loud, or you don't have to announce everything. So maybe that's it. So if that is the situation, I apologize. I apologize off top. However, I still don't know if I had that much money that I would. But what would you? That's the thing. Maybe space is not our thing. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Maybe space is not my thing. It's not, honestly. I've never had the desire to get outside of the globe. I need to go and travel the world. Actually, no, I don't, because I've done that already. But I don't see myself going to space. How about that? I just don't.
It's an interesting dialogue. Because I looked into it a little bit, right? Because I was at the hotel today. I saw they had it playing on the news, and they were just kind of like comparing stats, right?
Okay.
One of them started in 2000, the other one started in 2004. This whole like journey to make it to space.
Okay.
But they've been at it for a minute. But then they were comparing like net worth. So like one of them, Richard Branson has like a $7 billion net worth. Jeff Bezos got like a $200 billion net worth.
Yeah.
So it was just like, the comparison of what they have access to is also, it's a lot, but it's also totally different type of money.
Yes.
And then they're not even agreeing to the same competition, if you will. So like one of them is saying, oh, you got to be X amount of distance outside of space. The other one is like, nah, it's not 50, it's 62. Like they're going over what feels to me like silly competitive stuff to be like, nah, I'm just about to do more than what you did.
Right.
Because I can. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is more of a question for the listeners and the viewers. Shout out to all our podcast audio people and our YouTube people. If you had as much resources and money as these two have, what would you do? Just if space is not your thing, what would you do? Because clearly this is just like a fun project.
For
It's
real.
like, why not?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm going to do it.
Pretty much.
And then
Yeah.
Bezos just stepped down. So he's like, look, I have time. What's up? Like, I can totally dedicate my money and my time to my space journey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, listen, maybe
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, you're explaining it, and that's exactly what's happening right now.
Yeah, maybe when he was super young, he totally wanted to be an astronaut. And then all of a sudden, Amazon came along and he took over the world. And he was like, let me go back to my childhood and still become
childhood
the
dream.
astronaut that I've always imagined I would be. And so, okay, yeah. Yeah.
Another news.
Another news, Space Jam came out. No, this. In all seriousness, I think it's really dope. All seriousness, I think it's really dope what both of them are doing. The fact that, you know, when you want something and you have the means to do it, why not? Right?
Absolutely.
It's just a more of a why not situation. Like I said, I don't know if I would do it, but I probably have a why not situation as well that people are going to be like,
Right.
I don't know if I would do that if I had that much.
Yeah, they were getting a little smoke. You know, people were like, yo, why are you spending all this money to go to space and not like giving back to, you know, a greater cause? They was getting a little smoke on that.
See, let's not get into that topic.
I'm
Let's
saying,
not
they was
get into
getting a
that
little smoke,
topic
so,
because
yeah.
I think that is like everybody says that. I think it's like once and understand both of them are huge with giving back. Both of them are very highly documented about that. So if anybody wants to come and say that when they already contribute a lot, that's weird to me. But at the same time, like not one person or two rich fools, not calling y'all fools, but still, like, is going to like save world hunger. Like, no, nothing, like, let it go. Let that go. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. But anyways, let's get into Space Jam. Of course, Space Jam 2 came out and LeBron said this.
Day. I literally got a movie that dropped today, Space Jam: A New Legacy. Oh my goodness. It finally just hit me. I can't believe it. I'm so honored. I'm so humbled. This is crazy. It doesn't make sense to me, but I got so much energy today. I hope everybody go out, check it out in the movie theaters. Man, HBO Max, wherever it's around you, please check it out. I promise you won't be disappointed. I'm just super hyped right now. I can't even like control my energy right now. I'm watching my son right now playing a basketball game in Augusta, Georgia. My wife is right next to me. She's looking at me crazy because it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. Day. I literally got a movie that dropped today, Space Jam.
Oh, he's going again. He's going again. We're not doing that again. We're not.
Okay, LeBron, see you.
So, okay.
Funny. What'd you think of it?
What'd you think of it, Moose?
Well, I mean, I'm going to hold my comments until next week.
Okay, all right, I got it. Okay, until next week. See you next week. No, so this is the funny thing. Okay, so first off, I really liked it. Okay, I really like Space Jam, and I'm going to admit I'm a little bit of a baby. I get this from my mom. There was a moment that I cried.
No,
I did. I'm a little baby. Like, I really got this from my mother. I can't believe I've turned out like my mother. But there was just like an emotional part that I was like, oh my God, right? And I'm tearing up. It was weird. But I can admit this.
I wasn't even expecting you to say you like it. This is great. Okay.
I really liked it. Now, I put up on Nicky and Moose Instagram where it was like, it's supposed to be corny. It's supposed to be cheesy because if you are the age of that, you saw Space Jam 1. Okay. I don't remember Jordan's. This is another good thing. I don't remember Jordan's acting. I don't, right? I don't really remember anything about Space. I just remember it was super dope.
Right.
This one off top, I was like, oh man, this this is different acting. This is different. This is not the greatest, right? In the beginning, because it was just, if you watched it, and if you didn't watch it, please like turn this off for at least 5 minutes and then come back to it. Okay.
Fair. Yeah, just fast forward because I got mad questions.
Real quick. Actually, just go like this, right? Like the 15-second thing, just keep going.
Yeah.
It started off very typical, was like, you got to be about basketball, be the greatest, go back and practice. And how can you be great if you don't go? Like, give me all the cliche things.
So LeBron was motivational real quick.
It was real quick motivational. You know, he had a different wife and was like, you're so hard on your son, but how is he supposed to be great? Maybe he doesn't want to. Like, it was just, it was really bad in the beginning. However, it got really good. Like, I think you got numb to the bad acting. You got very numb and got very distracted with how, like the graphics and everything that was happening with it. It was really good. I was very surprised how good it was.
That's interesting.
I was like, LeBron, please don't ever act again outside of like family movies. But then I kept repeating to myself, this is a family movie. This is for kids. This is not for you. Don't, they need that encouragement. They need the bad acting. They need, like, LeBron is the number one basketball player. That doesn't necessarily mean he is the number one actor, right? So,
did MJ make a comeback?
You gotta watch it. You gotta. Michael Jordan was in there.
Oh, he was. Okay. All
no,
right.
I just said Michael Jordan was in there.
Wasn't
you gotta
there?
Watch it. Was in there. Right. Now.
Okay, I'm just gonna watch it because now I'm confused.
Yeah, just watch it. Just I'm not going. Actually, no. I'm gonna say it. I'm really mad that Michael Jordan wasn't on there. Michael B. Jordan was in there. I'm gonna say that. Sorry, people. Spoiler alert. I'm sorry.
I'm thinking you're saying
No.
This guy was in there.
No. By the time you hear this, it's Tuesday. It's already been out. You should have watched it, right? Yeah, it was Michael B. I really wanted Michael Jordan to be on there as just like a quick cameo.
That's what I thought would happen. I mean, okay, that's different.
It was, but overall, it was really good. And the crazy thing is, I'm not. It was a sad moment. Stop. Okay, there's no. Whatever. We gotta clip that part out. Yo, what made Nikki cry this week? That's what you gotta do. Okay, y'all watch and y'all comment what y'all think made me cry. Okay, whatever. But I guess LeBron was getting a lot of hate for the acting because, like I said, it wasn't the greatest. If you didn't keep in mind that it wasn't for adults, it was for kids, right? So of course he tweeted, "Hi haters." Because Space Jam opened up with $32 million. Okay? 32. Now, this was Saturday of the week that it came out. So by the time you listen to this, it probably made way more money. Way more money. But I can't even be mad at it. It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
And mind you, I mean, people are not fully back in theaters yet. So that's... I
watched it on HBO Max. I think they still count that.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's cool. It's like...
I wonder how streams work for movies.
That's what I'm thinking now.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Because it's not box office, Interesting.
But how many subscriptions came in, this, that, and the third? Like, that's...
And how do you bill based on if you're already subscribed? Like maybe you were already subscribed to HBO Max and you just don't. So that's interesting.
I was just because I knew movies were going to be on HBO Max and I didn't know if I was going to go back to theaters. I don't know. I got TV here. I got popcorn here. That doesn't cost $40. I think I'm okay here. I'll get better. I'll get better speakers. Maybe that's it. I don't know. That's just me. Yeah. Are y'all going back to the theaters? Let us know if you're going back to the theaters. Yeah, I mean.
Interesting.
But there was one that I was watching this weekend that was a whole like lesson that made me super excited, right? And that was the Naomi, how you say her last name? Osaka. There we go. Naomi Osaka's DocuSeries on Netflix.
Netflix.
Right?
Yeah.
We spoke about her before, of course, but the breakdown of this particular Netflix special was amazing. Like, to truly understand how great someone can be in a public light, but be so introvert, crazy. So let's listen to this mini trailer real quick, and enough that Netflix doesn't flag us. You know what I mean?
It's like an overnight superstar. And I think that pressure weighs heavily on her.
I think the amount of attention that I get is kind of ridiculous. No one prepares you for that. I don't know. I feel like I'm struggling.
So, fun fact. You know, Uninterrupted did that one?
Yes, I did. I saw Mav Carter posted on his Instagram.
That's big. That's big.
My guy.
2, I like the timing on it, right? Because, you know, she's said she's not doing a whole bunch of tournaments due to mental health. And so, not that, hold on, let me retract it. And I don't want people to think like she's going crazy. She's just doing it so she keeps herself in check with her mental health. Not that she's struggling with it. I don't want people to be like, Nikki said she's depressed. No, I'm not saying all that. But there are a few lessons that I got out of this that you might like, right? One, saying things without saying anything. So meaning, remember when the Black Lives Matter situation was like at its peak and she wore the different mask, right?
Yeah.
So she has 7 masks, which would be for the whole tournament. She would play all 7 times with a different name, right? And the one of the people who interviewed her was like, "Yo, how do you think that came across? Like, I see you become a leader. How do you think it came across?" And she was pretty much saying, like, well, how did you think about it? Because the whole point was to get you to speak about it, like to get the world to talk about it. She didn't say anything, right?
Right.
She just literally wore the mask, different names and everything like that, and allowed her presence and her platform to do the talking for her. I was like,
it's like a silent protest almost.
Right.
I like that.
So that was one of the main lessons I got. Like, okay, for my introverts, you don't necessarily have to talk to get your point across.
Right.
You have to wisely use your platform, right? Make a statement without making a statement. It was so dope to how she broke that down, right? Now, 2, here's where I can understand. I was going to say something crazy. Let me retract that, because I was like, I can understand why people do drugs.
Wait. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
All right.
I was like, people do drugs and become alcoholics and everything like that when they become on top. The reason why is because people who become number one, regardless if it's quick, regardless if it's like, you have a pressure that is unmatched, right? And so you're looking at it like, I feel like I have to prove myself over and over again. So when you think about like how she came up, it was like, okay, is this a fluke? Do it again. okay, she did it again, but is this another fluke? Like, it, to the critics and everybody, it was always like, you have to defend over and over again, and you're constantly proving. You're never to the point where it's like, yo, you're dope. You're good enough. You're number one. You're known as number one, right? I think, okay, so my question to you would be, when is it that you get stamped, yo, you good? Like, after this, you're great. Like, she's 20, now granted, she's 23. I believe she's won like 4 Grand Slams, right? She's done a lot in such a young age, right? Mm-hmm. My question is, does she have to like have 10? Does like, you beat one of the greatest of that time, right? Yeah. One of the greatest of that time. And it's a constant, what's next? What are you doing? Yeah. Or could you do it again? Could you do it again? And I'm thinking about same thing with like rap artists. Like I even though Drake is top, clearly, decade, the artist of the decade, this, that, and the third, when he drops, and if it isn't number one, they'll instantly cream him and be like, yo, flop, duh, he lost it, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, wait, yo, that pressure. Crazy. And I can understand why some people are just cool with a certain level. Mm-hmm. Like, I can understand. I don't condone it. Don't get it twisted. But I can understand. Yo, let me coast right here, because the constant go. Oh, that's exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. And I don't think, like, I think when it comes to a conversation like that, you really got to understand media, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know that anyone is ever going to achieve something to arrive at a certain status where they're like, okay, they're great now, all right? The way media works is to always create some form of narrative to keep people intrigued, to create some form of hype, right? So that they can push their stories out there. So I think that's what always happens. So when you think of many of the greats, right, like everyone's been bashed. You talk about Drake, LeBron, still getting bashed till this day, no matter what he does, no matter what he wins or doesn't win, right? There's always something to compare to. Right. I think even when we watched The Last Dance, we saw how MJ was also portrayed and there were stories happening. So I don't know that that's probably a good metric to look at. You know, like, I think people who are true fans and supporters of the sport, they understand some of the accomplishments. Like, she's won her first title, I think, as a teenager. She might have been 15 or 16 years old when she beat Serena in the US Open. Right. So, like, you know, you got to think about that as like, well, hold up a second. That's still a major accomplishment. You know, some years go by and she's still in the sport, obviously dominating, and pretty much decided to step down on her own. So, yeah, I think when you look to the media to give that stamp, I don't think they'll ever give it until retirement. I think when somebody retires, that's typically when they're like, okay, bet, let me kind of give you some of the respect that you deserve, kind of thing.
No, that makes sense, but it's just like, man, there's one statement she made, and if you haven't watched it, please watch it. Like, seriously, watch it. It's really, really good. Especially if you're an introvert, please watch that, right? But there's one thing she was like, yo, before the limelight, like, I could win and, you know, it's kind of under the radar. Mm-hmm. I could win, I could lose. It's no big deal, right? Now, because I won that particular Grand Slam against Serena Williams, like, now it's like constant. It's constant lights. It's constant, like, okay, we're going to shoot this. We're going to do this. You got to talk to these people. You got to do this. And it's like, and she said it even in the trailer, like, yo, no one prepares you for the attention. No one prepares you for, let's say, for like us common folks, for the viral moments and what that would come with. Right? We could hear it, we could look at majority of the greats, but until we truly experience all that attention, like we're not really sure. Like as a boxing fan, it's like you're all prepared until you get that first punch. Everybody knows how to fight until they get hit, right? So it's the same thing. It's like, yo, we could want this, right? We could want, I want the fame. I want the attention until you can't even go to the restroom. Until like you just trying to get to your locker room because you crying because you just took an L and you have to do 4 or 5 different interviews in between.
Right.
What was dope, like what was that kid tennis with Coco, right? When she beat her, right? And she Coco was crying, right? She was like, yo, let me do this interview with you because I've been here. Like I felt how you felt. So don't worry about it. And she was like, Coco was like, yo, I just want to cry. Like I didn't even want to do this interview, but she's here telling me to do it.
That's what's up.
Right?
Yeah.
So once again, showing that kind of leadership thing. But I think we look at the celebrities and be like, once again, this is what you asked for, right? This is what what you've trained for your whole time. And then I thought about it. And I think a lot of people, right? Like she was doing tennis since she was like, I don't know, like 2 or 3, like mad young, right? They showed footage of it, mad young. But sometimes it's just for fun. Sometimes it's just a passion. Sometimes, because of the talent that you have, you may do it because that's just part of you. Are you really doing it for the fame or just because it's part of you? So it's like, yes, to the outside world, okay, you came to this fame, you knew what you were getting into, you knew this lifestyle, you got to do 19 million interviews, this what. But I respect her more after watching this because it's like, no, I didn't know. Like I understood, but not really. And I, at the end of the day, have control of my mental and what keeps me safe and what keeps me whole, and here's I really wish you saw this. She was homeschooled. So the only people that she really talked to was her parents and her sister.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Which makes sense why she's so introverted too. Right.
So she's super comfortable around them, but it's like a struggle for anything else. And you could hear it. She's done great, but like almost to the point where it's like, human interaction is super needed, especially if you are that talented and you are about to go out to the world and become, one of the greats. It's a really good, I'm not going to break it all the way down, even though I said I did, but now everybody go watch that. There's so many different lessons from it that I didn't mention. Maybe we'll mention on the after show. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. But yes, go watch it. YouTube Moose.
But I will say that for some people, honestly, I think for myself, the greatest thing that's ever happened is not making it professionally in something you're passionate about. And I say that specifically to children because, like, I think about even myself, who was like obsessed with baseball growing up. I'm talking about absolutely obsessed with baseball. And then you look at, especially as you get closer to the industry and you can work with some people in the sport, and you learn more about the business side of baseball or the business side of professional sports in general. And you're like, man, that's an ugly business. Like, I'm actually fortunate that I didn't get to live that side of it in a way, because my perception of the game would have been totally different. And then as you look at somebody like Naomi, it's cool that she has the ability to step back and not think about, oh, well, I have to keep playing because I need the money. Mm-hmm. And I think there are other sports where some people don't have that privilege or luxury to be able to say, I'm going to step back and not lose out on anything. Right? You look like and of course it's a different example, but I just look at someone like a Colin Kaepernick, for example, right? Like, yes, he stepped away from the game for different reasons, but he also wasn't allowed to come back in, right? So like, there are a lot of other sports that you don't have that luxury where you could be like, I just don't feel like playing right now. It's like, nah, well, if you don't feel like playing, you're going to leave for good. So I think it's great that she's a part of a sport like that, because I don't know that that's something that happens regularly. Like, I mean, maybe in the sport of boxing or a fighting sport, combat sport, that's more common because you can schedule your fights out, to give you that type of break or something like that. But think about it, in professional sports, like, it rarely happens where someone can just break away, get their stuff right, and come back. So I think the fact that she has people around her who can help her navigate and make that decision, because again, I think she's only probably 20 right now, I believe. Yeah. Oh, 23? Mm-hmm. Oh, gotcha. So yeah, I think that's a great benefit to her. And I'm curious to see if she comes back, how things are going to go when she comes back. Like, these are all things that I think can almost create a new wave for new athletes as they enter industries, because then she'll be an example to follow after. Like, oh, it's okay to break away from the sport and live the rest of your childhood, in a sense, because you technically were robbed of that experience if you had to jump to the pros as a teenager. Right. So yeah, I'd be curious to see how the next couple of years unfold.
There was I know she did a Grand Slam during the pandemic. And I was like, oh, she gonna win, because there's no audience. There's no audience.
Nobody understands. Yeah.
That was the 7 mask and everything like that. I was like, oh, she gonna kill. There's no audience. She did amazing. I think there was like one slip up, but she did amazing. I was like, okay, so more on the after show, because I have a question of, like, when you are protected inside, is that one of the secret sauce of becoming great? I'm just saying, when you're on no distractions, we saw Michael Jackson and all these, but they not but after show conversations. You know what I mean? So man, we have a lot to talk about and time is already flying. So I'm trying to figure out. Right.
I just look back.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Queens. 50 Cent. He did another one show, Raising Canaan, right? Or however you put it, I think it's Canaan, right? So another power show, another big premiere, another to add to his legacy. He's doing the BMF series. 50 Cent, I don't care what you say about him, is just super smart. And like has saw his new lane, right? Just, okay, I'm doing amazing with these shows. Like, they're working. I have a formula. I'm going to milk out power for everything it's worth. I'm going to create an after show, and then I'm going to do a pre-show, and then I may do like separate ones of each character. Like, it's going to be a whole vibe. Then I'm going to do the BMF series. I'm going to do the ABC series. Like, he knows he put on this producer hat and it's a wrap, right? But the countless of lessons, and for our day one people, we went over 50 for our Facebook Live show. That was a great show. I mean, really great show. So it was only right that with the release of his new show, we bring back few lessons, new ones, not bring them back like recycled, but some new lessons from 50 that I figure I could get Moose to have some dialogue on, because I was really strategic with these ones. You know what I mean? So here's the first one.
You're not making money until you're making money when you're not working. I didn't make no money when I didn't do a show. You see what I'm saying? I had to work to get the money every time. When I'm not in the show, and the show is still, they go, how you keep yourself off your own show? Oh, they don't understand that.
Right.
I'm like, cause this go on automatic pilot.
Right.
It don't require me on this but to keep going.
Moose?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. I mean, look, it's a lesson that every entrepreneur learns, right? There's a difference between an owner and a difference between someone who is an operator, right? As an operator, you're fully engulfed into your business, like you're hands on with it. And it's crazy because I was telling a story of a company that I was doing some consulting work recently, and I kind of like was exposed to another consultant who's also working with that same organization at the same time. So anytime I'm in a space like that, I always put my pride to the side, and I'm like, yo, what can I learn from different practices, different approaches, right? And one of the things that really came to my attention is that much of the advising he was doing, and of course he was helping them out with a different process, but we were having one particular conversation where all of us were on the line, and his entire setup was, if we build around this one particular individual, what do you do if that person goes on vacation, if they become sick, if they decide to leave, right? How can the business continue to run at that point? And it's not just like, as you listen to this clip, I don't want everyone, all the listeners or the viewers, to think about it just as it relates to you. You are, the owner, the entrepreneur. Think about people in your business who you're trying to position in that type of role so that you can be free, so that you can be like, oh, well, that's what I got to do. And it's like, sometimes the worst thing that you can run into is a really good employee, because a really good employee covers a lot of gaps in your process, in your system that shouldn't exist, right? That you're like, oh, no. I'm telling you. You're like, oh, my business is good. It's like, no, your business is good because this person is there. Yeah, come on with it. Come back.
Oh, I'm just hyping because what you said is so true. I'm like,
yeah,
man, but at the same time, right? Is it the employee, like, I'm trying not, see, you set me up on that one. You set me up on that one. Okay, I'm gonna flip it. This makes me think, based off what you said, like, everybody should start documenting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody should start, and regardless if you have a 9-to-5 or you're an entrepreneur, like, you have to start documenting and duplicating yourself of some way, shape, or form so you can grow. Maybe not necessarily from let's say money standpoint, like he's talking about it, like passive income, right? But just from a standpoint of, I want to get to the next position. I want to get, these tasks off my plate so I can concentrate possibly on my purpose, So when you said that, I was like, another thing, but I was like, okay, document. I mean, even for myself, I'm like, okay, I got certain people that I want to be able to be put in position, and I'm like, okay, you got to get this really documented so they can learn, so they can grow. So no, that was good, Moose. That was good. I like that.
Thanks.
I didn't know if you wanted to keep going because I cut you off. I was like, I just kept pressing air horns. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I mean, no, it's good. I think that sums it up because you learn a lot when you see other people's businesses, man. And I think that's the unique thing about the position that we're in when we're able to advise and kind of, serve as consultants to some of these companies and brands. It's like you're able to see what they're doing. And here's another this is slightly off topic, but it's like sometimes you learn how little it takes to be successful. Like when you get close, you're like, oh wow, you guys became successful with all these mistakes. Oh wow.
Talk about it.
Oh.
Talk about it.
It's like wow. Like you know, for those who are listening, man, again, just I hope we can serve as conduits or whatever that word is for you. Is like, you know, like we're able to look a little bit closer, you know, than maybe some of the listeners are, and trust us when we tell you, like it takes a lot less than what you think it takes, you know, to get some traction, to build a little momentum and make some things happen, because there are companies succeeding with a lot of mistakes and still able to hold it up, you know, like, yeah.
I'm more on the, you get paid for the thought at a certain point, right? So what I mean by that is like 50 thought of a show.
Right.
He put the proper people in place and he thought of the show, gave his vision out, trusted his team, and now he gets to sit back. Like,
That's
he
real.
said, he even killed himself off because he's still going to make money every single time that show airs, regardless if it's new or a rerun, anything. Like, he's like, yo, actually, why did I make myself into a character? You know what?
Right.
Hold on. But knowing 50, he was like, I have all these different ideas for the show. One of them is going to be my character and make a spin-off off of my character. So I might as well make him very important, but then kill him off so I don't have to do any work, so I could then concentrate on this show, plan that out, give it to the right people. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's more, he went from, I'm actually rapping, I'm actually going on tour, I'm doing a lot of stuff, right? To where it is then a team situation and him just giving out his vision and him playing point on this where it gotta go, this where it gotta go, this where it gotta go. Even to like, which makes me start thinking is like, what is some of the things that will let go of more of the manual from what we do? And I think everybody should start asking themselves that at some point. Like, what is some of the manual stuff that I really need to let go so I can let this run smoother, that I can enjoy leaning back and seeing that mailbox money come in instead of always being paid for my time.
Yeah. That's good.
That's more, and I know for me, I've been on that all year. Like, okay, where could I place my money at? What needs to happen? What certain systems has to be in place for me to understand? And this year was my more of appreciation for systems, more appreciation of like, yo, you don't have to do everything. Like,
Yeah.
But to be honest, and for those people who do a lot, and is that employee that Moose was talking about earlier, that you find the gaps, and you know, you're pretty much 15 people in one, right? And I'm exaggerating, but at least 5 people in one, right? You need to learn to say no. It starts with no.
Yeah.
It starts with you not taking on everything in the world and really focusing on the real manual stuff that you are doing, and how do you either delegate that or how do you automate that? He took acting and automate that.
Major. That's major. Yeah, think about being in a position to write the story. And like, I'm just flipping the script here so that it can match the context of, you know, movies and shows.
Yep.
But he was literally in a position where he can write himself out of the show and still be in a position to get paid. So I think that's I know the show's called Power, but that's a serious power move, that you can control the narrative so much so that you're writing the own script. You know, you're writing your own script. So it's like, wow, that to me is fascinating. I think that's a part of it too, that, and I understand the concept of collaboration, I think that's important. But it's like, just be careful to not kind of sign your life away, for just an opportunity, because I think that's like when you see people like who we've really highlighted as like what you would consider a big boss, right? Like we talked about Rick Ross and Dame Dash, a lot of different people that we've talked about. It's like they're so big on, not signing away their freedom or their time that they'll say no to collaboration. And it's interesting because I think that's a whole different conversation. But it's like they never want to partner with somebody because like, nope, I want to continue to be able to control, my piece of the pie or just how I split my time. So yeah, that I think is a lesson too. Like, put yourself in a position with so much power that you can write yourself in and you can write yourself out of the script and keep going.
But let's get into this next lesson from 50 Cent, talking about something that's common in this podcast, passion versus talent.
I think the only thing that separates us is passion.
Yeah.
And when you become passionate at something early enough that you can put enough energy into it for you to become good enough at it, because you love it. Like there's some people are so talented that they don't have to work at it. It just comes.
It's natural.
Yeah, and those people, I think, have a high probability of being distracted.
So, my question to you, is it a bad thing when you know your talent? Like, the way that he put it was the people who have passion have the advantage, not necessarily the people who have talent, where from before, I would assume that people who have talent has it way better because you could just turn that on. Like that's waking up and being alive and you can go, right? But the way he put it was like, nah, I see the goal. I'm having fun with this. This is something I honestly love. So I could do this all the time. But the person who's talented, who could wake up like that, they may not see the value in it and they'll get distracted easily because it's not fun to them. This is them, period. This is who they are, where the other person this is what they want to be. So I always was like, oh, talent, natural, you're good, boom. But now it's more like, I can see what you're saying. I can see it.
It's really like an element of you can consider work ethic, right? But there's like an X factor, and it really is, how much you're willing to put into it. Because I think that, and we've said this before, but the better you are at something, the more that it becomes easier for you to cheat.
Yep.
Because you can cut corners and you're so good that you'll make up for it. They won't be able to catch on to it. Mm-hmm. You don't have to give your best, but people are still going to love it or love you because, again, you're so talented. So really, it almost, whether you notice it or not, consciously or unconsciously, it's almost engraving in you bad habits. So if you don't have the right people around you to kind of like correct that in you, then that becomes your new normal. So I have to agree with you on this there. For me, I would say definitely the passion is probably better than the talent, because at least the passion, you get a certain level of commitment with it because you understand that it's not going to click on its own. There's got to be something that you add to it and constantly work in rotation, to get to where you want to go. So the distraction piece, though, yeah.
That made me think. I ain't gonna lie, because I'm like, oh man, but also are you distracted because you're not putting enough value to it? I'm like, we've had this conversation where like you could be super talented and you don't even know truly your gift because you devalue it so much, and in which that's why you get distracted with everything else, because you're still trying to find it, but you're like, It's right there, right? So that's an element of it. But some people who do know, like, man, I'm prime example is and I love you, Nick. You won't hear this because this is already pretty much an hour in. So you won't hear this. But shout out to those who are still listening. But Nick is super talented, right? But he's one of those like procrastinators because he knows how talented he is. He knows how quick he could do it, right? It's like, I'll wait and then I'll forget because I got distracted with 19 other different things. I used to be the same way. Like, oh, no. That's why I have to do it right then and there to avoid that, right? Yeah. And people be like, why are you so quick? Because I promise you, if I don't do it right now, I'm not going to do it. Right? I'm fully aware of my flaws with that, right? But that's one of the things that because you know how dope you are, you're like, I could do this at any time because it takes me 3 seconds. It takes me 3 seconds. But whereas you are waiting, like the person who has passion, the person who wants to have that is making up for that time. Like you wait, I'm already doing it and I'm producing it. Boom, 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 to the point where at some point I'm going to be as good as you because you're waiting and you're distracted. So, and I could see that with 50 because he said it when we were going over him before. He wasn't the greatest rapper, right? But he had a passion for it. He's not the greatest actor or probably even producer, but he has a passion for it and he's going for it to the point where he has a huge stars deal. He has multiple shows. He continues to come out with multiple shows. And we don't see this ending anytime soon. So at some point, you have to, for those who are talented, you have to combine talent and bring passion with it. Right. Because that 100%. Is a deadly force. That is an ultimate deadly force. If not, one or the other, like, is cool. But when you have both, that's killer. For right now, and I could be wrong, but I believe 50 Cent's passion is what has been his biggest success when it comes to music, when it comes to film. And any of his business ventures, it's just been, I'm very passionate about this. I'm very passionate about getting a deal with vitamin water. Like I drink water, this, that, and the third. I could see the deal. I could do this, that, and the third. He was passionate about making it as big as he did and having it so out there. So I think at some point you need to be scared of the person who has passion. You need to not just so be comfortable with how talented you are. You have to be very scared of passion. Because if not, you are going to get overran and the person who has more passion is going to beat you even though you were born with that talent.
That's so real. That's so real. But that's how a lot of people lose their spots.
That is. So shout out to 50 and congratulations on the new show. Had to highlight him real quick with a few lessons. But there was this interview that I saw. For those who know him, Kountry Wayne is a social media comedian, and now he's been in film, so he's just a comedian. I'm not even going to categorize him as just social media, but he is definitely known for his skits, as far as on Instagram, just social media, Facebook. He got really big on Facebook first. That's when it started getting all the traction. But there was this interview that he did about his success with it, right? And there's two parts to it. Like you look at skits and you don't even think of it as being a business. So his mindset with it was different. And then also, he doesn't curse in his skits, right? Doesn't curse in his skits. And people were asking like, yo, why? Right? Now, mind you, on this same interview that I'm going to play a piece of, he admitted making $300K a month from content. Oh, hold on. $300K. So for those who think you cannot make money from posting, he is showing you something different. $300K?
That's next level. Wow.
He does a video every single day. And for those who don't know kind of the system, I'll break it down a little bit. But watch or listen to this clip.
I knew I treated it like a business. Everything I do, I create a program. You know what I mean? So I treated it like a real business. Right. And now it's a real business. You can't get in the business and be like, let's just be entertainers. This is the entertainment business. And at the end of the day, if I'm funny, but I die, my kids can't eat, that ain't really funny.
But is that because you're clean? Because dirty.
No, it ain't because I'm clean. But
Murphy rich.
But
kids,
you gonna have exceptions. I made it out the dope game, but everybody else ain't make it out. Right. So you can't go with exceptions. You got to go with. Now I ain't telling nobody to be clean, but to get an ad run through your videos online, it got to be clean.
This may be we may go over time. I'm going to be honest with you. Bear with us. There was like 3 lessons from that one thing. I want to know what you got out of it first. We could go back and forth with this because
my favorite is where he said that, he's not telling everyone to be clean, right? Like you don't got to do what I'm doing, but that's what I'm doing because I know this is how I make it work, for me. So like I love that, right? That he's very well aware that there are other ways to do it. But here's how I decide to do it, even if it may not be the most popular approach. Yeah. So I love that. It's like, sometimes what you decide to do may feel wrong in other people's eyes. It may not necessarily make sense in other people's eyes, even your own culture. But if it feels right to you and you're making sense of it because you know that your decision to stay clean is going to put you in front of more people, is going to, like he said, get some more ads in front of you, that's in your best interest. And as simple as it may seem, that is your best move, whatever is in your best interest.
Yeah, and to that point, right, it goes to also with there are some exceptions to the rule. And he was like, I'm not going to lean on the exceptions. Like I may not be that exception. So I got to play the game. So I got to look at the Seinfelds and the greats and see how they did things and not necessarily those diamond in the rough people, because I may not have been that, right? So when he's talking about the ads, even for those who create on YouTube, right, they have this whole submit rankings for your ads, and one of them is inappropriate language. You will not get any ads or only a certain amount of ads if you are cursing. Main reason why, even though we have a lot of content that has cursing in it, we bleep it out. The reason, and understand, Moose doesn't curse. I curse. Okay. I absolutely do. I admit that. I'm not trying to change it, but I understand there's kids watching us. Right? I understand there's seniors watching us and all in between. And if we are trying to captivate all audiences, well, not all audiences, but all ages, right? For legacy purposes, I can't be out here spinning what I would do at home or whatever. Because one, for the simple fact of what I just said, but 2, it will mess up money. It will mess up certain opportunities, whether from an inside standpoint of a content where we will be limited for ads, right? And maybe limited for certain platforms, right? And also it's just like, it's a shocker to some. Like what he was explaining was like, you say that, you're like, oh. And some platforms, some networks don't want that little, that they don't want that. So he was saying, I'm not trying to be the exception. I'm trying to play the game. Like, I'm trying to play the game, and I'm not going to curse. And anybody who comes on my platform and do these skits is not going to curse, because I'm not messing up my money, because this is too easy.
Man, that's crazy.
Right. Internet money, literally, he also in that same interview, he was like, I work twice a week, like 10 hours, and I have content for the rest of the week, right? He drops a video every single day. And if you're like I said, he makes $300K a month.
Crazy.
It's probably more at now, right? But when we're making content, and this is not more of like, don't be you. If that is part of you, because we've seen successful people curse and just be the way they are. But then you could look at this blueprint of understanding those are some exceptions. Or you are going to dominate that audience, and from a wider crossover standpoint, it may not be possible. So even to piggyback off of last week's episode with who can you communicate to? Even that type of language is a form of communication. Because if you can't communicate with certain audience, and it is, kind of flagged to like, your content is inappropriate for this person or for this culture or for this, like, that's, now you've slimmed down your audience and your reach. So he's very smart. Like, I could still be this kind of hood, street dude, kind of country guy. I don't have to curse, and that's going to get me the money that I want. The other thing that I like from the beginning is like the whole treating it like a business, and now it's a business, right? And just having that kind of mindset at first, who would have thought creating funny videos, just different skits, would become a business, right? And it is. And that's just anything. We can make anything nowadays a business, right? So what are you, how do I put this? What is your mindset with what you're putting energy to? Is it just something that you're doing and you make money once in a while? Like, that's how you're treating some of your, your digital products, your physical products? Is this cool? I make money. Or is it, I'm going to treat this like a business? And I'm telling you, go back to last week. I'm going to re-listen to last week, because that Eminem mindset, right? With, okay, we're going to work hard on these hours, this, that, and the third, and mixing it with this kind of mindset of, what you're doing is a business. You got to treat it like a business so it can become a business.
I'm not going to lie. That's a major key.
Those two combined is crazy. Those two combined is crazy. But I wanted to highlight him and highlight that part, because we're looking at this day and age of business. Like, okay, we've gone through actors, we've gone through athletes, we've gone through comedian with Kevin Hart, but the traditional comedian way. We've gone through music artists. We've gone through all these things, but we didn't touch the literally the digital entrepreneurs of today. Right. And he right now is an example of how you are making money on social media, right? How you are making a pure living from turning on a camera and showing your gift. And it's not baby money. That's a month. So hold on. Where's the calculator?
Three and a half. Yeah.
You already
it's
did
like
it?
3.6 a year. Yeah.
3.6. Oh, no, for the people in the back. 3.6 what?
$3.6 million a year.
The crazy thing is, he also said in that same interview, before COVID, he would do the stand up. He'll make $1 million, right? Then the pandemic hit, and he's making what you said.
Wow.
Right.
So getting more to do less.
I'm gonna suggest people to turn on that camera or document something or post more. Make it into a. I was like, even in my head, I'm like, yo, what can I? Even though I drop content every single day, I'm like, yo, what series? Now I'm thinking series.
Episodic, yeah.
Right. What episodic content can I drop that people are going to look forward to every single day that will get views, that will get attraction, things like that? I'm like, that right there, I drop video every single day. Facebook called him. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's crazy. Once you just unlock one door, the rest of the calls come right after it. Oftentimes it's just one. Like you just one. It's a wrap from there. It's a wrap.
Listen, we have one more lesson, but we gotta make it for the after show. Sorry, people. Sorry, people. Look at the time. Look at the time. We gotta make it for the after show. We got one more. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with Charlemagne, the God. So it was an interesting perspective, interesting side that I feel like we should talk about. And I'll give another hint. It just has to do with celebrating. So we'll talk about it in the after show. Do me a favor. Follow us everywhere at Nicky and Moose. Since I mentioned the after show, and if you're listening, you don't know what that is. All Access Squad on Apple Podcasts. Only for Apple Podcasts, you get exclusive audio from us, which is the after show, right? Which gives you the thoughts, the strategies, some more tangible stuff based off what we say from the episodes, pretty much. Literally, that's why it's called the after show. And shout out to Inky, who does the intro. You know what I mean? Light work, light little name drop. You know what I mean? Like
no flex, no flex, no baby
Johnson.
flex.
Yes, Inky Johnson did the intro. So yeah, go check out All Access Squad on Apple Podcasts. Only try it out for free for 3 days. Okay? Listen to the episodes that are already there. You won't miss anything. It's a whole vibe every week. A new one drops. So we drop every Tuesday, the regular podcast, and Wednesday night, the after show comes out. So go check that out. Moose, final words.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is something that we talk about often, but despite of how often we talk about it, it's still the thing that we hear other people say they struggle with the most. And it's this concept of consistency. All right. So to you out there who's struggling with consistency, number one, I feel you. But number two, I'll bring back a famous quote, right? If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up.